Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another So You Want to Play episode. This week we have the Turks, and this is a civilization that you guys voted for on the YouTube poll that I put out a couple weeks ago. So thanks all for voting, and let's take a look at the Turks this week. As usual, I'm going to show you guys how to play them in theory by going over their tech tree and having a small chat. And then we're going to hop into a game that I played with them on the rank ladder, and I'm going to show you guys how to play them in practice as well, and in a particular Civ matchup as well. Just FYI, the game was a long one, so strap in, grab a snack, sit back, and relax. But I swear it's a really good one, and it showcases a lot of late game tactics and late game ideas as well. So definitely an interesting watch for sure. Let's take a look firstly at their technology tree and see how to play the Turks in theory here. So the Turks are classified as a gunpowder civilization, and gunpowder is a bit of a weird one in the game because there's not a lot of gunpowder units, but you're gonna see with the unique unit here that the Turks have a fair few options to do with gunpowder. So the first bonus here is gunpowder units plus 25% hit points. Now this is the hand cannoneer, their janissary, the unique unit, and the bombard cannon from the siege workshop. It also helps the cannon galleon, I believe, in the water. Not 100% sure about that. But again, not really relevant for this the game that I will show today. And then researching gunpowder technologies costs minus 50%. This is mostly used for the bombard tower technology, and it costs half the price pretty much. And you also get chemistry for free. So Turks are quite a powerful civilizations with all of these things combined. Gold miners work 20% faster is their eco bonus. Not something that's amazing. It's probably one of the weaker bonuses in the game as far as economy bonus goes. But it's definitely quite nice if you're going to be going for knights or crossbows in the castle age. Definitely comes into play, in the background. This is the new big change. So Scout Cavalry, Light Cavalry, and Hussar have an extra Pierce Armor. This Pierce Armor, very important, kicks in at the start of the game. From Dark Age, you have this Pierce Armor. So that is a very, very nice bonus, and I think my boy Spirit of the Law just made a video on it, showcasing just how strong it is. I actually just watched bits and pieces of it. I didn't see the conclusion, but in my opinion, I think it's quite a powerful bonus, just because it's a free bonus from the start of the game, and actually the Pierce Armor is probably the best thing to have on a raiding unit. So definitely a strong bonus, big buff to the Turks. And then of course they always have had this bonus. Light Cavalry and Hussar upgrades are for free as well. So a lot of their bonuses are around these kind of trash units, which is quite good. And this is their only trash unit that's actually fully upgraded. Unique unit is the Janissary, hand cannoneer pretty much. Unique text is Sipahi, Cavalry Archers plus 20 HP. Not too bad. And then artillery plus 2 range for bomber towers and bomber cannons. And then their team bonus is that gunpowder units are created 25% faster. I actually think this is kind of nice because it lets you get the bomber cannons a little bit faster, and that could sometimes make or break a situation. So I really like their bonuses overall. But the weaknesses of Turks lie in their tech tree, so let's take a look at that. First weakness right here, Elite Skirmisher missing from their archer range. So this is not the best situation. The only civ in the game missing Elite Skirmisher. They're also missing the Arbalest. So as far as the archer range goes, only the Cow Archer is very good, a very good option. Hand Cannoneer and Imp is good, but it kicks in a bit later. Their barracks is actually mediocre. They actually have fully upgraded champions, which is amazing. But then they have not even pikemen. So they're missing Elite Skirmisher and pikemen, and this is very famous for Turks. They have terrible trash line, as we say. But their champion line is fully upgraded, which is really interesting as well. Definitely something that's kind of underutilized a lot of times with the Turks. And then they have their stable, which is actually quite good in my opinion. Only tech they're missing, or only thing they're missing, is the Paladin. And of course the Bell Elephant Step Lancer, but those are regional unique units. But they have free Hussar upgrade, and that's a massive bonus for 1v1. So Turks in 1v1 are actually quite decent with their stable. And like I said, their biggest weakness really is missing pikemen and Elite Skirmisher, not giving them a good option against say, I don't know, Arbalest, for example, through the archer range. The siege is pretty good. Missing Onager, yet again, something that doesn't counter Arbalest. That has a lot of trouble versus Arbalest since you're missing the Onager. But you do get the siege ram, you get the heavy scorpion, and the bomber cannon. The best siege unit for Turks is probably the bomber cannon. But the siege ram is also really, really useful at times. And heavy scorpion can be good for late game scenarios as well. Blacksmith, full tech tree, amazing. So again, this is why their infantry, their barracks is not bad. You get fully upgraded champions. And their cav archers can be really, really strong since they have Parthian tactics, thumb ring, heavy cav archer, and ring archer armor, along with bracers. So they have all the upgrades on the heavy cav archers. So one of their most powerful units, along with, of course, having the Sipahi tech. Cav Archers, definitely one of the strongest options, and Hussars, definitely one of the strongest options as well. Moving on here, the dock is pretty above average, I would say, only missing fast fire ship, but again, no bonuses for the ships directly besides, you know, the gunpowder stuff, which is not amazing. University, pretty good, missing siege engineers, but your unique tech, which is artillery, makes up for that by giving your bomber towers and bomber cannons an extra 2 range. The only downside to this tech, and I know how much it costs now, I checked it in NAT during the game, but it costs stones. That's actually a pretty big downside to artillery, and it's actually a big reason why you can't afford it in a lot of your games. But it's a very big bonus, giving your bomber cannons 2 extra range, allowing you to snipe trebs really easily, allowing you to win every bomber cannon war as well. Very strong. And then Sipahi as well, extra hit points for the cav archers, quite strong. Monk tech tree, nothing to brag about, but you do have redemption and sanctity, which is not bad. So it's not great, not bad. And then the eco techs, again, pretty solid, nothing to brag about, but not too bad overall. Fantastic. So in theory, judging by the tech tree here, the weakness of Turks is really not having, you know, the best trash units. But now with the extra pierce armor on the light cav or on the Hussar, it gives you a really good way to deal with the Arblast in the early imp, and with the crossbows and castles that just mass a lot of light cav, they'd probably do better than knights in this in this situation now with the Turks. So light cav is going to be your best friend in feudal and castle age most likely, or sorry, in the scout line in feudal and castle will be your best friend, and then Imperial Hussar should be a main part of your composition no matter what you do. And to support the Hussar, I would want either heavy cav archer or I would want some sort of gunpowder. That's how I see it personally. In theory, those are your 2 options, and then you have a couple other flex choices. Cavalier can be okay from time to time, but probably not better than Hussar, which you get for free. And then the champions can be decent at countering, let's say, Halbs or let's say Eagles, for example. So that's how I see Turks being played out in theory. And then for siege, you have bomber cannon or trebs and siege ram. Those are your main options as well. So a lot of options, but usually I see them sticking with light cav in the early game, and then maybe some cav archers and gunpowder as you go to the late game as well. And you don't have to open scouts in feudal age, but it's definitely a lot more incentive to open light cav, these days, especially with the extra pierce armor. So let's take a look here, and let's go to gotta find it here. How do I even find a recorded game these days? Actually, could be a problem. What in the where can I find them? Recorded game. What? I wanna watch a game. I wanna watch my recorded games. You have to learn to play. What is this? Not think this through. Ah, we found it. It was disguised in the load game. Sorry, I'm a little bit of a potato, but this new thing is a bit weird for me. But here's the game I played. Ooh, a little bit of World Cup stuff there, but here it is: Mayans and Turks against Kasva. Before we hop into the recorded game, though, I do have a quick little shout out to my sponsor. So the sponsor of this video will actually be G Fuel. So if you guys want any form of energy drinks, I highly recommend G Fuel, and I actually have something prepared to talk about here. And something personal that I would want to recommend as well. So don't skip to the next part of the video just yet, guys. Here I've got the G Fuel website pulled up, and I've actually entered to search the hydration. So I wrote in the search shop hydration, and this is what came up. And this is the line I'd recommend. So it's actually a caffeine-free energy drink, electrolyte. So it's electrolyte-based drink, and it's actually very tasty, and it's more on the healthy side in terms of energy drinks as well. So I highly recommend you guys take a look at this side of their shop. But if you want to take a look at other energy drinks as well, you can go to weekly promotions. You got new arrivals, bestsellers, sales, all that stuff. And I'll leave a link to this website in the description below, and use code Hera for 10% off all products as well. And again, the flavor I'd recommend: strawberry lemonade hydration. I have it right here, actually. It's really, really good. And I swear, they say it's 30 servings, but I swear this is gonna last me like 3 years, bro. I take only a little bit, and it just flavors my water with a little bit of energy kick, and it's the flavor's there, and it's really nice, and it lasts a long time as well. So highly recommend this product, again, on the healthier side in terms of energy drinks. And yeah, like I said, code Hera, 10% off. Last thing, if we get 5 sales in 24 hours after this video is launched, I'll stream the next episode, or I'll record it with the curtains open. So the curtains will get opened up for the entire game, the entire episode, and that's the incentive there to get some G Fuel products. All right, well, with that out of the way, let's take a look at some of the games here. The one game that I have prepared, which is pretty solid as well. And like I said, it's a long one, so strap in. I got my water all ready, and should be a good one as well. So let's go ahead and take a look here and make sure all is good. Looks fantastic. All right. Okay, boys, I've already talked a lot here, so I've gotta pace myself. But right off the bat, we have Turks versus Mayans, and it's Asva, my opponent here, playing as the Mayans. This is one of the worst matchups for Turks possible, so I couldn't have been happier when I saw this on the rank ladder. I was like, yo, if I can beat Mayans with Turks, I can beat any Civ. But no, I think that this game is going to showcase really how big the buff was for Turks, because back before the patch, you have very little options versus archer civs. In fact, Arbalest is like one of the hardest units to counter, let alone the plumed archer, which is just a better version of the Arbalest in Imperial Age. For the most part. But yeah, so the plumed archer is going to be a big factor against the Turks in most games, Turks versus Mayans. And even just the Arbalest as well is hard to stop. But now that we have an extra tool to deal with it, with the extra Pierce Armor and the Light Cab, I'm going to show you guys my thought process and how I went about this game. Let's take a look here. Big swing of water before we get started. Gotta stay hydrated. And yeah, let's take a look at the game here now. So I'm opening with 3 on wood, and I've got my 4 on berries. This is a very standard scout builder. I'm going to go 20 pop scouts. Nothing unusual about this, and it should be pretty good. My opponent, though, Kasva, he's got other ideas in mind. He doesn't want to, play against scouts, so he's got a full wall minute 6. So I know what you guys are thinking here. You're going to get, the neck pillow, maybe get some what are those called? The eye patches they give you in the plains. Going to take a nap. It starts off a little bit slow, but this just shows, the strengths of Mines versus the strengths of Turks. He's going to wall up, and I'm going to look to play aggressively here with some scouts, and might follow it up with some towers or archers to break through the walls potentially. But he goes for like the most, let's say, I hate using this word, but try hard approach. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love the fact that he's playing to win, and this is actually probably a smart thing to do with Mines. Walls did get nerfed recently, a little bit longer to build them now. So, his economy is a little bit weaker off this, but Mines get cheaper walls anyway, so they're definitely a civ that can get away with this. I also want to point out that Mines might be the best civ these days, because, a lot of other 1v1 Arabia civs got nerfed. I think Mines and Vikings might be the top 2 for Arabia, and then Turks kind of fit in there nicely, potentially. I'm not sure how good they are just yet, but potentially as a counter civ to archers, with their Hussars, and it's really a strong bonus on paper, but we'll see how it works out in practice. So, let's slow it down here a little bit. So I've got my villagers moving forward, because I do know he's got full walls set up. So I actually scouted this, and remember, I was going for 20 pop scouts, which I did. Standard build, 2 lumber camps. And now I'm sending 3 villas forward, because I need to get some sort of aggression going. It's very important to pressure my opponent if I see him going for walls, because I don't want to let him get away with a free fast castle. So my first step is just to attack the wood. I thought of attacking the stone, but then I thought to myself, it's an easy wall behind it with houses or stone walls, and I'm not denying anything. So I wanted to deny the wood and force him to move around. So I go here with a tower. I did a cheeky move, by the way. I attacked this this palisade wall with a villager, and at the same time built the tower, and at the same time attacked with scouts on the left side. So I did a lot of things at once. Unfortunately, the beast that Kasva is here, he reacted to all 3 threats at once. So he made walls on the right side, walls here to prevent the hop, and then even walled this side while moving his wood to the back. So great reaction here so far from him, and I'm just stuck now hitting against the walls. So, behind this, what do you do? And I often get asked questions, Hera, what do you do if your opponent full of walls and you're going scouts? Well, this is one good answer. You start off with some tower pressure, and usually when your opponent's fully walled, you stop investing to scouts. I decided to do, I think, 1 more. And just in case I was able to break in, I wanted to have that 4th scout. And, maybe that was a small mistake. Maybe it's better not to do it. But in the moment, it felt like it was a good idea. That went with the 4th scout, but usually the general rule is when it's fully walled, you stop making scouts. Maybe try to break in with some towers or archers, but then definitely just work your way to castle yourself and see how that goes from there. Okay, so now again another cheeky move from me. I tried to chop the tree. He defends that with some palisade walls. You see, I'm trying stuff, throwing him off his game. He's stuffing everything, and he's looking to fast castle here, but his economy is kind of a mess, right? So going for the towers was a good idea, because I didn't give him a smooth fast castle. I made him relocate a lot. He got a lot of idle time. He's only now able to afford his buildings. So, going for this tower aggression was actually quite good for me, I believe, because it slowed him down so much. And we're seeing yet another scout here. But I do think this one is a mistake then. because I'm making a lot of scouts here, and I'm not able to break in with them. So might be a little bit too much of investment there into the scouts. But nonetheless, now I'm working my way to Castle Age for sure. Not going to be making any more scouts to get in here, because it's just going to be a waste. So again, more walls from him, and at this point we can fast forward because not much is going to happen, and like I said, this is a longer game. Let's go ahead and fast forward here as we take a look at what's happening. It's just me trying to break in, and my opponent here just walling up, and at this point it's pretty frustrating for me because, you know, I'm obviously investing a lot into aggression and a lot of walls. It's not a very fun thing to run into, right? But you know what? It's costing him quite a bit, and he's not going to have the eco to really go for town centers now, so he decides instead to go for some eagles. You know, go for 2 barracks eagles, and behind this, I'm just gonna go for some walls myself because I expect some sort of retaliation. I'm just not sure what yet, and I'm walling up now with a stable, blacksmith. I don't make a range because Turks have a very bad archery range. If you don't want cav archers, and I don't want cav archers versus mines. It's probably one of the worst options to go for against them, just because their foot archers and their eagles both do really well against cav archers. And I just go for my second stable now, because I figure light cav or knights can be really good. And now I see his eagles, so I understand what's going on. And I decide first step is just to full wall. So eagles of his will force me to fully wall, and it's gonna go into a slow booming Castle Age most likely here. I get bloodlines on my scouts here. I'm looking to just wall and keep the eagles out. The reason I didn't wall in my towers is just because I didn't feel like it was necessary. 2 towers are very easy to clear up anyways, so I didn't even bother going for it. But walling your towers could, is always usually a good idea. So, it's more or less just a lazy step on my end for sure. All right, just walling up behind it again. And now that I'm hitting Castle Age, let's compare real quick the situation. He's up 2 villagers, and he actually has his 2TC set up, a 3rd one coming up. So I would actually think he's in the lead. If I'm not able to do any damage here with maybe some forward siege workshop, I would say he's probably in the lead. And so that just shows you how strong the mines can really be with their just fast castle here. Or in this case, just a straight up fast castle here from Kasva, while fully walling your map. So I think this is still really strong with the mines, and it's just such a super safe way to play. So at this point, I have 2 options. Either I go for a big push, go forward siege with knights and try to end the game fast, or I simply go for a boom myself. I opt for the boom. I don't know if this is a good choice. In hindsight, I do think that I should have went for a forward siege and went for the push. Why? Because I already have 2 towers pressure. I know he's going to go eagles, and I know I can easily take control of this hill and take control of the stone and the gold with a siege workshop. So I do think just booming here was actually a mistake. Generally it is an option, and I could add 1 town center, but I do want to see a forward siege workshop here most of the time to try and catch back up in villager count. Or instead of catching up in villager count, I try to get some good damage in instead of just booming. Because now if I boom, I'm going to be behind 10 villas pretty much the whole time. So that's going to potentially make me run into some problems here for sure. So definitely my first mistake of the game, I would say, just strategically here. Misstep there with the micro, loses a light cav for sure. But in general, it's eagles versus light cav, and going eagles is smart because I don't get any bonuses with my light cav. The extra pierce hammer doesn't really matter, so pretty much like the new Turks hasn't done anything yet. So I'm basically playing the old Turks versus Mayans, and we know that that's a rough matchup, but I'm still okay with the situation because I know he's gonna eventually have to switch into sort of archer units because only eagles will die to gunpowder. So he needs some sort of plumed archer or arbalest at some point. And at this point, he's, like I said, I thought he was going to be 10 vills up, but he had to make a lot of spears and eagles, so he's actually only 6 or 7 vills up, which is not a big deal. And now I've got my 3 TC set up as well, and a university going down now as well. And again, I do think this is a mistake. It should have been a forward siege, or some sort of building to control this hill would have been a better play. And again, there's no excuse for that. I should have done something better here in this mid game. I opted to just play super defensive and gain the map with the light cav, and I think that's a big mistake. Like, I'm not taking advantage of what my opponent has given me. He's given me so much space, and I said, you know what, I'm cool just sticking in my base as well. So again, I think that's a pretty big mistake. But one thing that I'm doing well is I'm looking to collect the relics now. So I'm going to scout the relics, or scout the map with my light cav, and I do see 1 in the back of his base, but there's 4 extra on the map somewhere, and I'm just looking around them now, found one right there. Pick it up now with the monks. And so the downside to him full walling is the fact that, of course, he can't really contest the relics properly. Now he's just going to be going out with some eagles and pikes. And he has a castle in the front now to clear power. So as soon as I see his castle, I'm thinking two things. Either he's ready to go up to Imp and go for some Eagles, or soon, or like in the next 5 minutes he'll go to Imp, or he's going to make Plumed Archer transition. I could expect either. I didn't really care which one he does. I just have to make sure I'm on my toes for both. And one way to easily check is to run past the castle a few times and see if he gets armor upgrades, or sorry, attack upgrades on the plumes. It'll show on the castle as well. So that's one way to see if your opponent is going to go for Eagles or if they're going to go for a plumed or Arbalest transition as the mines. Very, very nice trick there. Hopefully you guys can learn something from that. Alright, and the problem is now, so I'm just booming, I'm getting my eco upgrades, and again, the problem is I'm still behind in a couple of villagers. I don't have any control on the map. Like, this hill could have easily been mined with a couple mangonels and scorpions, prevented the infantry from walking up like this, but now, he's getting some plumes coming up as well. I have to give this up, and if I give this up and he gets a castle here, well, that's a castle in the middle of the map. That's not pretty. And there it is, castle immediately down from Casva. So, well played to Casva there. He's doing the right steps, I think, in securing that middle, and I kind of lost my chance in securing the middle, and that's going to come back to haunt me a little bit. You're going to take a look, especially this gold being completely overlooked by this castle as well. So some strategic misplays from me, but like I said, I'm bringing in the relics, so it's not all bad. I do have about 3 relics for sure coming in, one in the corner as well, which I'll scout a bit later as well. Alright, just gonna make sure everything's good on this end. Yeah, looks like everything's rolling smoothly here. And I'm getting a defensive castle. I actually thought of getting a castle out here, or out here, or out here, but I thought I can't contest this hill yet, and I don't want to make it here because then it gets trebbed down from this hill, so I had to make it super defensively. And I made it, guard my monastery and guard my 2 TCs. So it makes sense in this location. I think it's actually a pretty good position here. But I do want to kind of expand my map, and I was just looking around, and there wasn't a lot of good hills for castles. It really is this one position. Again, it's a mistake to give it up like I did. I should have taken that in Castle Age. But okay, I've got 3 relics now, and potentially the 4th one is this monk going across the map here for that 4th relic, and that's a big deal. The reason I'm highlighting the relics is because Turks are very gold dependent, and so getting a good relic setup for late game is important because you don't have skirmishers or pikemen. Skirmishers being the important thing in this matchup. So if I run out of gold, I'm going to be having no answer to Halb pretty much. So I need to have gold in order to answer his halberdiers. Alright, so I'm up to Imp a little bit faster than he is. The vill count is about even at this point, just 3 in it. And he's getting, handcart fletching. I'm getting handcart and armor. So really, really similar positions here. And I'm going to go for Janissary. Janissary plus Light Cav, or soon to be Hussars. That seems like a pretty solid composition. But he's going to also go for Plumed Archers and Halbs most likely afterward as well. So, it looks like he's pretty set on the Plumed Archer production. And at this point, from my point of view, I'm kind of crammed in my base. I don't really know what to do at this point, in the sense of, like, I don't know what I want to do, because I do know he's got a castle here, or I know he's got some sort of control here. I'm going to scout it with this Light Cap very soon. But I do want to control some of the map, so I want to expand somehow. So I start with a couple stables here, and I might look how to expand after that, but for now, just a couple stables, and I have a few Janissaries to deal with his infantry. So right now, my gold unit is the Janissary, food unit, or the trash unit, is going to be the Hussar. That's my composition. And on his end, like I said, Plumed Archer Halb for his composition as well. And my siege unit, I'm thinking it should be the Bomber Cannon. So that's kind of my overall thoughts here. I do click his infantry, so I see it only has the +1 armor. He's not upgrading them, therefore he's most likely going to be going for Plumed Archers, which is obviously correct. Oh, this was super unlucky as well. He gets an outpost. Well, good positioning for him. And I got a castle out here that would have secured me this hill and allowed me to trap down this castle from this hill potentially. But he actually completely spots it while I was on this side dealing with a few infantry. So it's one of those things where I went for a risky play and I wasn't defending my castle, and he actually just happened to spot it with an outpost. And that's a pretty bad castle here. 36%. Gonna lose a lot of stone on that one. And again, this is just me trying to expand and him denying the expansion. So well played for him. Definitely solid. Egyptian chemistry bracer coming in. Gonna try to get in, but again, the story of this game has just been walls, walls, and walls, and he's just gonna stonewall behind it. There's gonna be no chance for me to break in if he's just gonna stonewall his whole map. And he had a really good one. Look at the walls coming up here. Just houses, stone walls, palisade walls, and I'm not, I'm not getting a chance to use my Hussar here. And if you can't raid with Hussar, it quickly becomes a lackluster unit, and he just had the perfect map to defend against this. So again, I'm going up against a perfect civ, and he's got a pretty perfect map to defend it as well. So like this is the worst situation that Turks can be in versus the mines here in the late game, where they're fully walled with stone, and I'm kind of stuck having to deal with plumed archers from the middle hill. And like I said, it was a lot of this came down to just my mistakes. He takes a good fight here. I just didn't have the numbers really to take this engagement in. He has the hussars in front, or sorry, the halbs in front, and I'm yet to have the plus 4 armor, and it's only now kicking in. So this is a really bad fight for me, and it shows here. He gets a great trade, and well, now I'm kind of in a rough position. He's at 150 pop, I'm at 127, and I'm kind of, like I said, kind of confused on what I want to do. However, my thought process is this: I've got a lot of gold, I've got hussars. He doesn't have hussars, so I'm thinking if I can drag this to the late game, late game, I could win off relics. I have 4 relics set up, and that's a good win condition. But I'm gonna have to weather the storm now, and I don't have onagers and I don't have elite skirmishers to handle this composition, so it's a tough one. I think one mistake that I do is I try to force attack in this castle on the hill. I actually get a castle on this right side to control the stone. Always a good idea to castle these 2 stones, because if you can fully take it, it pays back for the castle. So in a sense, you just get a free castle, which is always a good thing, right? And it also secures like a lot of wood for late game and a hill, which is quite nice. So this castle was pretty good for me in my opinion. The problem is I just have a hard time defending it now. I'm gonna attack with some hussars though, catch his plumes off guard, and again, my gold is kind of floating here. I'm just not spending it because I'm playing as Turks, and I haven't gotten into their gold heavy options yet. Just spamming some hussars for the time being. Look, it's nothing but hussars here. The extra pierce armor coming in very clutch here, and I'm able to dive under the castle. Look at this. I don't give a shit. Like, I'm going right into castles. I'm attacking the plumes, and overall these are really good trades for me. And I'm also, you know, getting some cannons onto the castle as well. The problem is he's got some villagers. He's got halbs. He's able to defend this castle all day pretty much. And I can't really afford to spam hussar forever. I'm only on 50 farmers right now, so I don't want to throw these hussars just yet. I need to get good trades with them still. And I'm just trying to expand my map. So you can see castle on the right side hill. Maybe better position would be here, but this position's still good. Overlooks this gold, which I'm not quite needing right now. Oh, I get town patrol. Oh my god. I'm actually trolling. That was a misclick. Hera, what are you doing, man? Oh my god, that's such a waste of resources. I could have got blast furnace. I got town patrol. Oh god, YouTube, please do not think differently of me after that one. Holy moly. Actually, let's see who actually watches my whole videos. Type town patrol in the comments. Nothing else. Town patrol in the comments, and let's see how many people actually watch my videos. That's a good test, right? Because for all I know, you guys just skip to the end and, hey, Hera, I was here, bro. I watched a great video, by the way. I'm being overly you know, pessimistic, but let's see. Town patrol in the comments, and let's see how many people got to this moment here in a random portion in the middle of the video. But anyway, you know, just enough talking about random text, Hera, and how much you suck at getting the right text at the right time. But yeah, so this is the big problem, right? Just my hussars. I'm looking for places to raid, and Kaz is just stonewalling everything. He's not giving me any chance. And again, a big part of this is because his map is just so many wood. So much, you know, forest, sorry. He's able to wall between woods, and another part is the cheaper mine walls, letting him wall early on as well. So he's gonna go for hussars. He's gonna go for halbs. Halbs, trebs, siege rams, and plumed archers. And he actually picks up murder holes here, which is a pretty smart tech, especially for this castle in the center. I can't just dive under it with hussars. He's gonna always be able to hit me. And so I'm going for janissaries and hussars. That's my composition, with bomber cannons as my siege. So again, it's the standard 1 gold unit, 1 trash unit, and 1 siege unit composition. Unfortunately, janissaries are quite a weak unit. You know, unfortunately, even after they're buffed, they're quite a weak unit. Not that they don't have a good damage output. They do have good damage output, but you know, they're just really squishy. They die to archer units, and oftentimes they overkill the halbs. Meaning, if you have 40 janissaries, they all target 1 halb, and you end up doing like 1 billion damage to that 1 halb, but you only kill that 1 halb, and they have a slow fire rate as well behind it. So you can see, you know, in this game that while they got a small buff recently on their accuracy for their elite janissary, which I'll get in a second, there it is, it's still not 100% the best unit. And yeah, I'm taking poor trades here. His trebs are on my base now, attacking my castle. He's got some siege ramps prepared, and he's just got halbs, plumes. It's just a lot smoother for him. Straight up, you know, the Turk composition is a lot more awkward. I'm doing my best though. I'm using the Hussars and trying to snipe some trebuchets out here. And again, I'm really just buying time because I have the 4 relics. That's kind of my win condition here. But he does a great job. Picks off my bomber cannon, picks off my Janissaries, and again, Janissaries are just so weak versus plumed archers. It's just not something I can. It's not a fair fight. Look, like he's picking off 1 for 1, and mine are a lot more expensive, right? And if it's an extended fight, he's just gonna absolutely shred me long term. So I really have to make the most of my Hussars, but he's not giving me that chance. He's gonna go straight in with cap ram now. He's at 200 pop, capped out, and I'm still stuck at 160, only now getting the last armor upgrade. You can see me spamming farms here first. I'm at 70 farms, still spamming more because I really need this Hussar spamming. He does a beautiful move here. Let's pause and just admire his movements here. He goes Halbs and Rams on one side, the side I have Hussar on, and then the side that I have Janissary on, he's attacking with plumed archers. Like, this is crazy. He's completely splits me, takes advantage of my weaknesses here, and I can't repair in time. I have to just garrison. And I lose a bomber cannon for free. And meanwhile, I'm losing my base. The Halberdiers are coming in here, and it's not looking good, guys. It's not looking good. I'm defending with what I have. I mean, there's monks happening with conversions, but overall, I have everything garrisoned because I have no use for these Hussars for now. So I'm just gonna garrison them up. Another bomber cannon goes down. Now there's siege rams coming in, and if I lose this castle, I'm gonna lose my monastery, and I'm gonna lose the front of my base. So this castle is very important. Like, this is not something I can give up. So I've got a few Janissary in the back. They'll help for the ramps. But if he dabs in with now the plumed archers, that can get pretty dicey now. But I've got some Hussars, and I know about those Hussars. So I'm kind of just waiting for the right moment here. And I bring in some Janissaries in the back. And I figure, you know what? Now is a good time for the Hussars to come out. Hera? There it is. Okay, Hussars are coming out here. Villagers to repair. Hussars out on the front to take care of the plumes and the rams. Can I keep it alive? No, it doesn't stay. And, well, this might be the end for Hera here, honestly. So, 170 pop still. 180 for Kasva. But you know what? Even if I lose this castle, I still have some pretty good population. I'm clearing out the rams now. Bomber cannons could potentially hit some of these plumed archers. And, oh, by the way, on the left side, more siege rams coming in. So, well, my population may look healthy, but my situation in the game definitely not great. I lost the castle in the front. I'm losing, or maybe gonna lose this castle on the right as he's preparing a push here, and I'm losing this castle on the left. And well, that's not very nice, right? Losing at 3 portions of the map and having the weaker civ here is not a place you want to be in. And I have to say, I really like these new Hussars. They're tanking a lot from the plumed archers, but it doesn't change the fact that they die to helps. You know what I mean? So as far as like mines versus Turks, I don't think getting the extra pierce armor like makes you win the matchup. I still think mines have the upper hand at the matchup, but I do think it helps me survive and it helps me have stronger raiding units. So I quite like it for the time being here, as I can analyze from this one game. Trading evenly again, Janissary from the back doing the damage per second. Elite Janissary got an accuracy buff, which is quite nice. I don't know if I noticed it too much. It's not a unit I always go for, but it's there in the back here. So this is actually a completely buffed Turk army here. And yeah, I'm getting trapped down here. Siege rams coming in. I try to react with Hussar. By the way, on this left side, I lost my castle, and he's gonna go for this castle as well. He is relentless with these siege rams, and I'm still stuck at 160 pop trying to defend. Siege ram goes in here. I save my Treb. Do I? There it is. Save Treb. But like, he stands over Halbs, and well, I can't stop Halberdier, unfortunately. And just look at the Janissary versus plumed archers here. The Janissary, you know, even with higher numbers, they don't fire as fast. They overkill units. They tend to miss a lot, and it's just inefficient trades there. So even with more numbers there, I'm still losing quite a few, and they're just so expensive. So you know, that's the problem here in this matchup. And then the Halbs are pretty much just unanswered unless I have a good massive Janissaries nearby. So he's able to take this castle on the right. Meanwhile, in the center, he's still flooding with siege ram. And look at my situation. I'm at the limit. I don't have resources. I don't have stone to repair endlessly. I have to buy it. I'm playing a lot with my relics in this position, and again, it doesn't help that I'm losing stray units. And I'm trying to raid, and he gets the wall in the last second. I'm really trying to raid him, and even this looks exposed, but it's really not. He has so many Halbs nearby, so much plume, so much production, and again, look, I'm really trying to raid, but every time I look somewhere, he's there with the walls, and he does really well, honestly, to keep himself walled in. And again, super annoying for me to just keep running into walls with my Hussars, but you know, it's super tactical from him. Alright, so his situation now, he clears the right side castle, and I just let it go down. I can't defend it at this point, and I really want to highlight that Halbs are still a pretty big weakness to Turks in the late game if they're going to be spamming these Hussars. So keep that in mind. Halb, Arbalest, or Halb Plumes with Siege Ram is still a great composition versus them, especially with amazing civ like mines here. But you know what? I'm finally getting to 200 pop. I've got 140 vills. I make it a kind of a must for me to not go too far above 140 vills here, because I need a lot of military to stop his siege ram pushes. Whereas the mines are happy sticking on 120 vills, even like 110 vills sometimes, and just spamming a bunch of Halbs and Plumes because they're so cheap. Alright, I'm just gonna get hoarding. So now there's a 6,000. Oh, hold on. 1 second. 7,000 HP castle in the center of the map. There's a 7,000 HP castle in the center of the map after he gets architecture and hoarding, so that's like so hard to stop. It even has murder holes, so it has such a good firm grip of the center, and it's just gonna be so painful for me to react to this. Like Halbs, Plumes, and Rams coming in, and all I've got is just some Hussars. I'm trying to clear up this left hand side to take the stone now. By the way, the right hand side I'm getting raided now by Halbs, and I need a pause here. Actually, I have to talk about a late game resource. So when we talk about resources in Age of Empires, we often think stone, gold, food, wood. But in late game, population becomes a resource here, and this is something that's interesting to talk about as well. I've got, what is that, 20 Hussars on the left hand side. That's 20 pop I can't use. I've got an extra 20 vills over him. I got 138. He's got 122, so that's 16 extra vills, 16 extra pop that won't be fighting. And I've got also Hussars randomly here as well. So I've got like 40 pop that's not fighting here. He only has like, what is this, 15 pop that's not fighting. So he's going to have like an extra 25 pop in the center of the map here that I just don't have. And what that's going to result in is just him getting the upper hand and the initiative to push here. He just simply has more units because he's using his pop more effectively. And again, because my army is just simply cheaper than the Turks here. And I do my best here. Again, I'm buying some stone. I go for the repairs. I'm trying to debate the Halbs into the Janissaries, and honestly, the Janissaries, the buff on their accuracy, at this point I can kind of feel it. Like they're hitting a lot more than they used to, and they actually feel like a pretty viable unit to take out Halbs in the late game. It feels at least like that, but I'm just getting constantly raided by Halbs and Siege Ram on the side as well. And again, Halbs isn't the best raiding unit ever, but they're still not too bad. I am realizing he's missing Blast Furnace. That's probably a big tech to be missing here. Not a bad, or a pretty bad move from Kaz, but to forget about that one. And I never get artillery on the bomber cannons, but that's just because I never had the stone for it, really. I never can prioritize it, but I'm getting, you know, housed at 190, 195, because he keeps taking out my houses, man, on the side with the siege rams. And yet we have another push onto the center castle. I actually rebuilt it after I lost the first one, getting raided by some Halbs. I'm dealing with that. Finally cleared up that left side as well, and there's just more and more fights with Halbs in the center, so it's a lot of Hussar and Halb action here. And he's now going for another big push in the center. So another big push in the center now. He's got, you know, traps coming in. 3 siege rams going right in for the castle. And remember, this castle guards my relics. If I lose this castle, I lose my 4 relics. I have no advantage in the game anymore. Those relics are my only advantage, really. I have a weaker comp. I've got the weaker late game in terms of trash units. And he's got the better position on the map. So these relics are my only win condition. I'm desperately trying to keep him alive. And you can see I'm going to trade a lot of Hussar to snipe his siege here. That trebuchet is on 1 HP. I love this game. No, I really enjoy when my opponent survives with 1 HP on his treb, and I'm forced to spend millions and millions of stone. Okay, tens and tens of stones at repairing the castle. So that's unfortunate. I didn't realize that in the game, but you can see me desperately trying to stay alive here, and I even go for some counter raids just because I don't know what to do. Like, I can't take full-on fights, so I go for some counter raids. I fight on the front with Hussars, and trying to make it difficult for him. I finally take out his trap as well, but might lose a bomber cannon in the meantime. So hey, not always the best trade here for me. And it goes down, and those plumes are just so strong, man. And then yeah, he's just gonna run back to his hill. I am raiding him on the side though, so I'm feeling pretty good about this position, and he's down to 140 pop for the first time in the late game. So I'm feeling pretty good about the situation now. I'm stuck on 200 pop, and I'd feel a lot better if I can get in and raid him, but unfortunately he's fully stonewalled. I think what I should have done is prepared a couple petards. Instead of trebs, I should have gotten a couple petards, punch in through here, and then run in with 30 Hussar. I would clean up so much economy and open up the game, and that's what I needed to do. But again, I just didn't really think about it. I was too stubborn on this one castle in the center, so I try to raid, but this is too slow. Without the petards, it's too slow. He just stonewalls up behind it with a lot of builds. But again, if I had the petards, I can actually run in here. Kind of a mistake from me. He continues to try and Hellbram on the side. And again, the Janissaries, if they don't have the meat shield, they get wrecked by plumes. And it's something that Turks, it's still a problem for the men. And Bomber Cannon, Hand Cannon, it's just, it's too awkward versus plumes or versus Arbalest. And look at this army now. 40 plumes, 30 halberdiers. Still missing the last attack upgrade though. It could have been so much stronger. And then he's got Siege Ram and Trebs as siege units. Like, it's just so powerful. I can't engage. Got Janissaries on the front. I'm forced to just cover up here, and I'm forced to run around with my Hussars. I've got so many Hussars, and I'm unable to fight because of Halbs, right? So it just feels awkward. I'm trying to trap him down, but he's got a lot of population now in the center, and again, I can't afford to repair too much. Like, I have a bit of stone, but after that, the wood price is gone to rock bottom here, and I even add in some couple extra TCs here just to try and help with the raids, because I can't really fight off halberdier raiding, funnily enough, without my talent centers there. So I'm in an awkward position now. I don't have bomber cannons because my siege workshop is in a bad position here. If I had a siege workshop on this side, it could have been good. So I'm just trying to raid and split him open here, but it's not looking good. And he's actually going to take out my monastery now with the sneaky Treb. Bam, out goes the relics, and at this point I'm like, yeah, I lost. At this point I really thought it was over. And I'm just gonna get, you know, halberdier raids are non-stop, and I'm down. I'm not down in population actually. I thought it was a lot worse. But I'm not down in population, but I'm losing so much map. And at this point, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go all in now. If I don't clear this army, I'm gonna lose the game. So I send in the Hussars. I avoid the halberdier raiding, and I'm just gonna go fight with my Janissaries. But I unfortunately couldn't hold this castle, and that's gonna go down as well. Like, look at the map here. He just has so much of the map. Oh, sorry about that. He has so much of the map here. The front, he's even taking my gold. On the left-hand side, he's contesting this area, and he's got, you know, complete access to this right-hand side. So he's looking at 70% of the map right now, and gonna try and continue fighting in the center. Again, this is a brutal late game here. Janissaries in the back and Hussars in the front, but again, it's just, you know, plumes and halbs are just such an amazing composition now. I will say though, he's down to 80 vills, and he didn't do a great job replenishing it. So while this army from him did a really good job of clearing out my base and doing good damage, he's not replenishing his economy properly here. So that's kind of a player mistake rather than a civ or position mistake, to be honest. He should have been able to win from this position, but he kind of struggled with his eco here, and that's a big mistake. And well, my eco, even though my position looks bad, I got better eco. I got 140 vills. I'm just farming in the back on the side. Wherever I can get 5 farms down, I'll get it. And I'm just really trying to play the long game here. But let's take a look. All of a sudden, that's my last castle. So Hera, this is a question. This is a 200 IQ question. How are you going to produce Janissaries if you can't have any castles, if you don't have any castles? And well, I can't answer that, man. I'm out of Janissary production. So I recognize that, and I'm going to try and hold on to the Janissaries that I have. Like, I can't lose these. And instead of Janissary, I'm going to switch into hand cannons. They're not as good. Janissaries are better nowadays in Imperial Age, but hand cannons will have to do. I don't have time to switch into heavy cow archers, take so much resources, and going just, you know, straight to normal skirmishers isn't a good idea either. So I'm forced to go hand cannon Hussar. And as awkward as a composition as it is, it's not, you know, it's not the worst in the world. It's the best I can do right now. And I'm gonna pick up my relics now, so I'm feeling okay again. I'm feeling okay despite losing my castles. I'm 200 pop, and well, Casper's still at 150 pop here, so he's actually struggling way more than I am on the eco side of things. So you know, I'm thinking, you know what, I'm in an okay position. I'm gonna continue raiding here on the sides, and Janissaries, well, they still clear up halbs if you have enough of them. Alright, so just kind of look around the map here. Again, I'm suiciding Hussars. Just let me taste the trap, please, and I'll send as many Hussars as I need to kill a trap. And I consider that worth it in my books for sure in this late game. Gold is king, and he's coming in on the front again, and I have to fight this. You guys understand this, right? If I let him walk here and I lose Janissary numbers, I can't remake these. And even the hand cannons, I can barely remake them. I'm out of gold. So I kind of have to flood Hussars at this. There's no choice. I have to protect my Janissaries, but he's just going to completely run in here. So I had to fight that, and it wasn't a good fight. And that's just the position I'm in, unfortunately. That being said, his position not that much better. He's lacking a lot of population, and so I'm able to eventually clear this out potentially because I've got more pop flooding in, and my stars get absolutely shredded. At this point, I realize I gotta mass these up. I can't send them in one by one. I'm like, okay, let's step back. I'll mass up and I'll try to clear them one at a time. And again, throughout this whole time, I'm thinking like, if I go below 100 bills, I'm gonna lose because my army's too expensive. So I need to always constantly fight him, because if he gets into my eco, if he gets in the back of my eco and idles like 40 farmers, I can't afford to produce his hearts and I would just lose, right? So I have to always make sure to trade with him, and even just small numbers of halbs, and I can't trade with him. And he's even missing the last 2 attacks. So if Kazma played perfectly and replenished villagers properly, got the last attack upgrade, I think he would have easily won this game. Easily. So, you know, Turks are still not quite my tier on 1v1 Arabia. And again, I also made my fair share of mistakes in the early game. But I want to just point out that Mayans should still be the better civ here on a head-to-head fight. But, you know, the Turk buffs have been really nice in helping me keep up in this matchup, because this was pretty much unwinnable before the buff. But now after the buff, Turks have a small chance in it. And I'm trying to go for more raids, but I'm not finding any openings. He's just going in his castles, and yeah, he's just gonna move to this left-hand side, and I'm forced to react because I can't raid him. So it's frustrating here again. A lot of frustration against these walls, but it's just how it goes, right? He's now back to 160 pop, so well played to him to get back on the pop. And I've got a fair share of hand cannoneers here. He goes to this left-hand side, and I'm forced to move 20 farmers. So again, I'm idling now the farmers, and it's not looking too good. For about like the 5th time in this game, but this time I'm gonna just flood my my hussars, and I should have enough to clear this up. I do have like 9 janissaries as well to deal with some halbs, so I think my army should be big enough. It's just a matter of getting there in time, and well, I got some good mobility. Look at me, I'm spamming farms everywhere, man. Anywhere I can farm, I'll get down 10 or so. So not too bad there. Farms going down, more hussars going through, and as you can see, I'm still making use of my mobility. He's onto my gold now on the top, or sorry, the extra gold on the bottom, onto my gold on the front as well. And oh man, I see this body of 40 halbs, and I'm like, how in the world will I kill this? I got nothing. But what can Turks do against 40 halbs, really? You can't go champion. He's got plumes. Can't really go heavy cav archer. Halb siege will easily kill that. And halberdier is still a Turk nightmare in the late game, unfortunately. The buffs don't help too much against that. Even the extra range or extra accuracy on Janissary helps a little bit, but not too much. And as you can see, I have a lot of problems dealing with this. So instead of dealing with it, I'm just going to try and raid and use my mobility in that regard, and just trying to break his lines. Look at, I'm running hussars left and right, trying to hit those plumes while, you know, my hand can't deal with the halbs, and I'm getting extra town centers in the back of my eco to help deal with these halberdier raids as well. One here now, and I'm doing a lot of good stuff in the late game, to be honest, to try and stay alive. But Kazma simply is just non-stop fighting halbs, and what I like about Kazma's play is that he's not giving me a second to breathe. Not a second to breathe. Every time he's coming forward with army, coming forward with trebs, he's pushing my monastery because he knows if he can take away my relics, I can't answer halbs. Without gold, Turks cannot counter halberdier at all, and even with gold, I'm struggling here, right, with the hand cannons. So I finally cleared up the left-hand side struggle, but because I'm on the left-hand side with some of my population, I can't defend the middle. So I'm losing a lot on the middle. But as long as I don't lose my hand cannon, I'm fine. And once again, you see me trade a lot of hussars for 1 treb, and it's worth it every time because I don't care about hussars, and I really care about those trebs. So 1 treb goes down now, more hussars on the front. My queue is non-stop here. A lot of idols, but again, population never really leaves 200, right? So town center's going down in the corner. I'm just desperate to have safe farmers, really, more than anything here. And I'm finally starting to push out, and I think this is the first time in the game where I feel like I'm winning. Like, I remember feeling in this position, I was like, you know what? I think I have a really good position now. And you're gonna see me get a little bit more ballsy with the raids as well. Looking for more angles to get in here, and again, just spreading my hussars really thin as well around the map. And that's just because I feel like I'm in a good position. So yeah, more raids coming in. I feel like I don't really need them at home, and these guys have 2+5 again, Pierce Armor once again, so it's very important to note how strong these hussars are as far as raiding goes. Alright, so just getting those raids in again. It's really spreading those Hussars around the map and just defending with what I need. I have a ball of hand cannons to defend here and a ball of Janissaries to defend on this side. Just to clear up the Halbs, and Hussars are doing the most damage. I got one into the corner. That guy gets cleared up, and yeah, I don't want to take fights downhill versus Halbs though. It's not a good idea, but yeah, just kind of debating those Halbs back in and them out. I don't know if I'm talking too fast, by the way. Hopefully not, but yeah. This has been a really crazy late game. My throat's a bit dry, but I do a really cheeky move here in a second. So again, I want to show you guys defending on all sides of the map. So there's fighting happening everywhere, but a cheeky move about to come in here with these Hussars. I noticed that he keeps sending vills out here, so the next vill that comes out, yeah, you don't want to be this villager. Yeah, that's not cool, bro. Yeah, bro, I'm talking to you, man. Yo, dude, yo, Hussars are in, man, and the problem with people who stonewall is because he hasn't defended any raids back here. So he's got no castles, he has nothing, it's completely exposed, and he's just gonna get 50 villagers idle. From his perspective, he can't afford to have these idle. His food income will struggle a lot. He has barely any wood income because he's, again, stonewalled half the map, so it really makes your expansion a lot more awkward. And this is why stonewalling isn't necessarily a good thing for late game. People always say, Hera, why don't you stonewall on the sides to defend raids? And while it does defend raids, it makes your expansions very awkward, because now you also can't walk through your walls. You know, you can't have a gate every 2 seconds. So, you know, it makes this expansion very awkward. So now he's lacking wood, he's lacking food, and I've got everything, right? I've got the 4 relics as well. I've got a lot of Hussars, and all of a sudden, man, it's looking like it's really, really nice to end this game for me. I got Hussars raiding everywhere, and again, as soon as I get one raid in. One more problem with walling. As soon as I can get it in once, it's over for him. He's idling everything, and now these walls are completely useless. It's just hindering his expansion, and he's completely out of the game now. 100 pop. I'm pushing him with Hussars on the front, hand cannons in the back, bomber cannon. Now my composition is coming to life, right? When he can't afford to spam Halbs, I'm at 110, 111 farms. Spamming Hussars, man, and he can't afford to spam Halbs to stop it, right? So. He's gonna get slowly bled out here, and I don't care about these Hussars one bit. Like, I really, really don't care about these Hussars. I care about this bomber cannon though. It's on 6 HP. You gotta be careful there. And again, just continuing to run in with the Hussars with those extra pierce armor. Just so strong here. Setting those guys up, raiding everywhere, continuing to run to the back here, stopping the expansion to that wood, and now finally, an hour of me being stubborn and attacking this castle in the middle, and finally it looks like I might not be able to kill it here. So yeah, Hussars taking out the plumes, bombard cannons on this castle, and the GG is called here. He can't hold off. He's at 85 pop, and he throws in the towel, guys. So that was actually a really nice game here overall. You know, I may have made some mistakes. I'm not gonna lie. This was not perfectly played, as most of my games are. They're not perfect at all, not even close. But I managed to pull it through in the late game here, and I do think Casva made a lot of mistakes in the late game. You know, one of the main ones, missing that +2 attack here. That's really big on his halberdiers. And another one is really just not expanding properly, not getting castles on these hills instead of just focusing on that middle one. Like, this was good, but he needed a castle here as well. Like I think he kind of slept on that a little bit. Tried to go too much down the center. He needed to focus a little bit more on the sides as well. So that's one of his mistakes. But again, super close game. But the fact is, overall, this buff seems really strong for Turks, and it just feels like something that can make Turks viable, or at least decent versus these strong archer civs. Not quite on board, like not quite on par, rather. Sorry. Like, mines should still be way stronger than Turks in most situations, but at least now Turks just don't insta die. You know, they have some options. But again, if there's one thing to take out of this game, is that Turks, their main unit nowadays, Hussar. Secondary units could be heavy cav archer, could be hand cannoneer. And again, it's weird to have the gold unit be in the secondary category, and that's just how strong the Hussars are. It's just such an easy option. You always want to go Hussar in late game, and then whatever you support that with, like I said, heavy cav archer, hand cannoneer, janissary, bomber towers even. That's up to you. That's up to you, and it's up to the situation as well in the civ matchup. Again, you don't want to go heavy cav archer versus mines most of the time. I didn't have time for it. The janissary comes to mind. But against some civs, like, let's say, I don't know what's if I can think of off the top of my head here. Let's say I'm playing against a civ like Franks. You know, Franks going something like Hussar heavy cav archer. It would be a good matchup for Turks, or a good play from Turks to go for that kind of composition. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of So You Want to Play Turks. It's a long video. I'm dehydrated. Once again, check out the link in the description. Defuel, use code Hera 10% for 10% off. And if you get 5 purchases by the in the first 24 hours after this video gets launched, I'll stream the next episode with the curtains open. Just a little kind of fun thing there. And look at the situation here. Double the food gathered for me, so that's big stuff for me. More stone. He had more gold though, but I had the relics. Like 5k gold from the relics. That's the problem with walling too early. You give up the relics, and the time when he had the better civ, he had the better composition, but I had the better eco, and that just went over time here. All right, well, thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you guys next week, and I'll see you guys on stream sometime in the week as well. Take it easy. I'll see you guys later. Bye. Peace, rather.